think the video says it all. Lee Corso has done it again. He picks the Noles as Florida State gets ready to take on Clemson in prime time here at Doak Campbell Stadium. Welcome back. We're here at Gameday. It's Lane Hurt along with Scott Kotick. And Scott, Gameday's back in town. I know there's some things holding up in the air right now. We'll go into that a little bit later, but still the excitement level is still very high.
I think when you come in and see this place early in the morning, you just drive in. There's nothing quite like that primetime atmosphere. I remember being in Tallahassee Friday, and it's just everything is just building up to this point. Game day is just that next step to get to tonight. There's nothing like a sold-out environment. This place has been sold out. This game has been sold out for months, into the summer now. You finally get to this point, and it's just an exciting time to be a Seminole, be associated with this, and just to know Florida State's the #1 team in the country yet again.
The big story heading into this one, obviously, starting quarterback Jameis Winston, now suspended for the entire game. Redshirt sophomore quarterback steps in, Sean McGuire. He gets his first start in a huge atmosphere. How do you think he's going to handle this?
Well, what an environment to, first of all, get your first start as a Seminole, a primetime sold-out game. It's nationally televised. I frankly think McGuire's going to do great. We've seen him practice. We've seen the kind of young man he is. He's as solid as they come. The guy's been waiting for some kind of opportunity for a couple of years now, waiting behind Jameis Winston and Trickett and Coker, who are obviously doing great things now at Alabama, West Virginia. McGuire's a guy that can get the ball down the field. He's a guy that can make the game come to him, and he's a guy that can really make everybody else involved. I think McGuire's going to have a great game. I think you and I both, we were talking about this before we got on the air. Excited to see what he can do because it's finally his opportunity to shine.
For me, Scott, I look at how Jimbo Fisher has handled these situations in the past. You had E.J. Manuel making his first career start against Wake Forest in Wake Forest. Clint Trickett did it in Death Valley against Clemson. Both those guys played incredibly well because Jimbo Fisher had a great game plan for that. He understood what he was doing. I think Fisher really focuses in these situations, so I expect it to be a great game plan. Plus, I think those guys are going to really rally around him. You have senior leaders on the offensive line, at wide receiver. They're going to play their best for Sean McGuire.
And the neat thing is, too, I think you make a great point, Lane. Almost everybody is a senior. That entire offensive line, Rashad Green, Christian Green, Nick O'Leary, Carlos Williams. The majority of the starters are seniors. They've all been in these kind of environments. Every single guy we talked to this week, this is why you come to Florida State, to play these sorts of games that mean the most. I can't wait to see how McGuire performs because you're right. Jimbo Fisher's had great game plans over the years, and why should we expect anything less from a guy that won us a national championship last season?
And let's not forget, Scott, there's a whole nother side of the ball where Florida State's defense versus Clemson's high-tempo, fast-paced offense. Chad Morris has had a lot of fun playing Florida State in past years. Not last year, but the 2 years before that, they scored 72 total points combined. Florida State, I think they understand what they're going to get with Chad Morris now and what they're going to see. What do you expect from this matchup?
I think Chad Morris is going to throw the kitchen sink at Florida State yet again. And we'd be fools not to expect that because of what happened here in 2012. Remember the craziness. Sammy Watkins throws a touchdown pass to Andre Ellington. Taj Boyd has got some trickeration up his sleeve. Now, we won't see, obviously, any of those guys play today, thankfully, because they're in the NFL right now. But I think what we are going to see is we're going to see a Chad Morris offense try to throw the kitchen sink at Florida State because Florida State has shown some creases of maybe not the same sort of defensive fortitude as they did last year. Take nothing away from Florida State because they're still one of the best defenses, again, in the country this season. I think what we should expect, Florida State simply has to get pressure on the quarterback. If it's Cole Stout or if it's Deshaun Watson, they've got to get pressure. Florida State was able to be successful last year because Taj Boyd was under pressure the entire night in Death Valley. It really was a nightmare, and hopefully for us, we see some sort of similar thing tonight in Doak.
Scott, I think you hit the nail right on the head. It's about that pressure. Last year, we were able to disrupt Clemson all day long. Taj Boyd was uncomfortable the entire matchup. There were turnovers. That set the stage. If Florida State can do that once again, I think they'll be able to keep Clemson's off the board enough for Florida State to win. Let's go into a couple more things you're looking for. Give me one or two keys that you're looking for tonight.
Force a turnover early. We said it last year. It's almost kind of deja vu, so hopefully this happens again tonight. But forcing the turnover early. What happened first play from scrimmage last year? LaMarcus Joyner, Terrence Brooks, they force a turnover, and that changes the entire complexion of the game. What happens if P.J. Williams, Ronald Darby, one of the linebackers, Terrence Smith, forces that key turnover tonight on Clemson's first offensive possession? Entirely new ball game, gets McGuire comfortable, and that's the other thing. We got to be able to run the ball. Frankly, with McGuire back there, he can throw the ball, can get it downfield as well as anybody in the country. We have got to establish a run. If it's Dalvin Cook, Carlos Williams, Mario Pender, they've got to establish that game.
For me, I look at get on the board first. March down the field. I have all the confidence in the world that Jimbo Fisher is going to have a great set of plays to start out with McGuire, what he's comfortable with. Let's use those plays, get down the field, score early, kind of let him get a deep breath, let the crowd take over and lead there. And then for me, senior leadership step up. Rashad, calm things down, make a big play for your quarterback. Offensive line, keep the guys off of McGuire, allow him to be comfortable back there in the pocket. Carlos Williams, tote the rock, get some big gains, get them in second and short, third and short situations, areas where McGuire can feel comfortable, where he doesn't have to feel the pressure that he has to do it all himself.
Absolutely. Can you imagine if McGuire can simply hand the ball off and Carlos or Mario Pender or again Dalvin Cook can get 5-6 yards on first down? That changes the way you run a game plan. If you can get that yardage on first down, like you said, get out of the gates fast, the game just changes. If you can let the crowd, which is going to have, could be a record crowd tonight, could break that record from Miami last season. If they get into it, it gets loud. That student section gets loud. Clemson gets backed up there. Watch out. Florida State has got a lot of advantages playing tonight.
Whatever is going to happen, you know Doak is going to be rocking. They are supporting Sean McGuire in full force and their Seminole team. And of course, Seminoles.com will have everything you need before the game, during the game, after the game. The social hub on Seminoles.com, videos, post-game reaction, everything you need will be right here on Seminoles.com. For Scott Kodak, I'm Lane Hurt. We'll see you in Doak tonight.